Chris Lovell here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Colton Coons taking care of us as always. Coach Gwin, he coaches football over there at Lubbock Cooper High School. It is close to soccer season, so we wanted to get you in. Look at we got some synergy.
Got it
going.
already,
yeah, we got
right?
We got the crest and all those things. Okay, so this is second season as the head boys coach?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Second season as the head coach for the program.
Okay. You've coached football?
Yes, sir.
Do you miss it?
I do miss it. I joke about it all the time. It's been nice with the extra days on the weekends and stuff with the family, but when I watch a game, I can't hold back. I want to, I feel like I'm in the box again, so I do miss it every time I watch a game.
You miss the fun parts. You don't miss the long hours and days and all that.
Couldn't
stuff.
have said it better myself. Yeah. I do miss it though.
We're all that way when it comes to the certain aspects of what we love about sports. So, take me through what because you worked with Coach Burkhead for many, many years. Yeah. And then a couple of years ago, it's like Burke's like, hey, I think I'm going to coach these girls. And then you get handed the keys. And,
sure.
And did you change anything like with your, like put your, style on anything or whatever?
Yeah. So, luckily working for Burkhead for so long, I took a lot of influence from him when I took over the program. And I kept a lot of things the same when I took over. But one thing I wanted to, I guess, kind of change or just kind of put in a little bit was I wanted to instill a lot of confidence or some sort of swagger in my teams. I wanted them to play with a higher level of confidence, practice with a higher level of confidence. Everything they did, I wanted them to be very, very sure of themselves. And I think that was kind of the biggest change, if you want to call it a change. That was the one thing I wanted to emphasize more than anything was this toughness and this swagger about our program, that we can compete at a high level and we can do it and be very sure of ourselves while doing it.
Okay. If you could change anything about high school soccer, what would it be? Is there a rule to change? Is there a calendar to change?
Oh,
is
gosh.
There
I'm not the biggest fan of the cold, so I do wish it was a little bit warmer, maybe closer to the spring or later into the fall. It's that winter schedule is brutal, especially tournament season. It's windy, it's cold, sometimes rainy. That's probably the only thing.
Yeah, like on your because when you're ordering stuff to prepare for the season, like the old parka goes in. We need some of those.
Number one thing that goes in the bag. That and hand warmers. You never want to be left without those.
Yeah. How many kids are in your program?
So this year we will have about 39. About 19 varsity, 20 JV. So biggest year we've ever had. We had a very large freshman class. And last year's class was pretty big as well, so we've been really blessed to have the numbers we do this year.
And the JV just plays a district schedule typically, is that right?
No, they'll play a couple non-district games as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you having to recruit kids to come play, or because your numbers are so good, you're like having to go? Man, we're kind of full. Like take me through that.
No, really, like I said, we've kind of just been lucky with getting the numbers that we have naturally. I mean, I'm shocked, but as many freshmen as we had try out this year, and the numbers we've kept throughout this whole transition, we really have just been blessed to have the numbers we do.
What's your favorite thing about coaching? Regardless of sport.
Oh gosh, my favorite thing about coaching, it's the connection that you get with these kids. You get them for 4 years, and then afterwards, it's like you want to stay in contact with them. You want to see what's going on with their lives. One of the coolest parts, or one of the coolest things that's happened to me was my former coach from high school. Growing up and being an adult and getting to coach against him eventually, we built this friendship that went past our high school relationship, and so and the funny thing is later on in life, obviously, I get older, I'm starting to, I'm getting married, And I send him an invite to my wedding, and he calls me and he says, "Well, you're never going to believe this, but I'm also getting married on that day at that same time. So I guess we will not be at each other's weddings. We'll be a little busy." And so it's that relationship. Like I want to give back to the kids now. When they're older, I want to make sure I know, what they're doing with their lives and things like that.
Yeah, it's that connection that you just can't get in other walks of life, man.
Right.
Like the competition, and you sit in the cold together.
Right.
And you grind away, and you win together, you lose together, and all that stuff. How many seniors do you have on your team?
We have 8 seniors this year.
8 seniors, so
yeah.
That's a pretty big senior
Relatively
class,
large senior class, yeah.
Yeah. Take me through some of these guys, and let's mention some names here, and like kind of some folks you'll be leaning on for not just good play, but leadership and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So this senior class comes a lot of minutes, a lot of experience. At first, a lot of goals. So the first person I want to talk about is Michael Rodriguez coming back. Started last year at our center forward, our 9 spot, 20+ goal scorer. A great leader, great scorer, offensive-minded guy. We're going to lean on him heavily this year to get us the goals when we need them. So he's going to be super important. Our anchor in the back, Javier Cerda, he's our big guy.
I'm telling you right now, because Chip Darden has been using him for some kicking duties.
Sure.
But they don't look any better getting off the bus than that young man.
No.
He's a good-looking player.
And he's a great defensive player for us, a good midfielder when we need him. He can play center back. He
can bully some folks.
Yeah, he can get in the box and win some balls out of the air. So he's going to be somebody we definitely lean on. And then Branson Horn, he's our Swiss Army knife. You can throw him anywhere and he'll perform at a high level. Last year before he got injured, he missed most of the season. Last year with an injury, but before he got injured, he was a goal or assist per game guy, and one of, if not our best players going into district. And we missed him a lot when he was out, but he's back, he's healthy, and again, I can put him anywhere on the pitch, and he's going to produce. So that's another guy we're definitely going to be leaning on.
I love the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
we have the crest, we've got the pitch, we've got the scarves, we've got the.
I'm bringing the soccer vibe today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay, and then how you're the younger, like how young do you go on your varsity team?
So this year we, like I said earlier, we had a lot of freshmen. Mm-hmm. As far as playing up. I'm only probably going to use 1 or 2 because I really do think it's important for that class to build a good core and nucleus playing together. Okay. But make no mistake, if I need a body, I have plenty of talent in that class that can come up and play some minutes and be very good for us. And then our sophomore class, we'll have a few from that class that'll be playing very important minutes for us.
Take me through your schedule and like your district specifically.
Yeah.
Because you're in the 5A deal, and so the districts are largely the same as it would be like in other sports, whereas the lower levels it's like a free for all. And so you're able to really put Okay, so how many teams are in the soccer district?
So we'll have 9 teams in our district.
So you've got 16 games right out of the gate.
Right.
So it allows you some flexibility to add some non-district tournaments and games and all that. With an older group, with a deeper group, do you test them early? Do you go, hey, we need to build some confidence? I mean, like, take me through how intentional you were with your non-district scheduling.
Right. I wanted a really good mix because you see certain teams from different areas of the state and they play differently. Like for example, I scheduled Midland Legacy early because that's a program I know is going to be very physical. And, we're going to get fouled hard, and we're going to have to get up, dust ourselves off, and find a way to win, that scrimmage, So I was very intentional in wanting to schedule teams like that because we are going to play a very physical district schedule. So I wanted teams that kind of matched that energy early on, as a lesson for, a learning experience for everybody.
So what? Okay, then you mentioned styles of play like
Sure.
West Texas. What
Yeah, West Texas it's rough. It's
Okay,
physical.
okay.
It's hard-nosed soccer. It's not always going to be the most talented team wins. It's going to be, who can withstand the most. Not to sound like Grant McCaslin and Texas Tech, but the toughest team's going to win most of those games. Toughest team wins. And that was kind of our motto our first year. Because that's how the game is played in West Texas. You go into Dallas and the Austin areas, and it's a lot more finesse. It's quick moving. It's a lot of passes. It's very finesse. And
skill oriented.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Okay.
And so you see the styles kind of clash. Well, we play a lot of physical teams. I wanted to be intentional in playing teams like that early on.
Okay. And will you also see some of this Metroplex at all in the non-district?
No, not this year. No, usually
Okay.
we do, but this year with our tournament, we're playing also mostly West Texas teams.
Okay.
So.
And when you mention physical, like we're talking yellow card, red card
Yeah,
scenarios.
it can get chippy.
How do you coach that? Because there's. We all watch the European soccer,
Sure.
and soccer gets a bad rap or a rap that it deserves in some of the flopping.
Sure.
So some
Yeah.
of the, like, oh man, is he okay? Like, it looks like he's never going to move again, and then they're up walking, 30 seconds later and all that. But some of that's real.
Sure, but you kind of adapt to it and you learn, and you're like, all right, like it's part of the game, guys. Like, you got to understand it. I know it's a flop, like we all see it, but it is part of the game. At this point, we just got to keep moving. Got to overcome the call.
Okay.
So
okay, and you try to do you talk to your kids about, like, don't take the bait, don't.
Yeah, we have that conversation a lot because it can be to a point, especially in a game that's very close, or we may be behind or something, where frustrations do kind of boil
Sure.
over in moments like that. So, but we do a good job. We pride ourselves a lot on, making sure we stay composed in those times.
Okay,
So.
yeah, because what is your opinion of like draws in soccer, or like when we do the tie?
Yeah,
Because some teams, don't they? If they just know they're not very good, don't they just kind of play for that?
they'll do what we call parking the bus. They'll put all 11 guys back, and they will defend, and we'll play teams like that this year. It happens. It's just kind of part of the game, and you got to overcome it. You got to be more creative offensively. You got to take your chances.
Explain the parking the bus analogy.
Yeah, so that's basically where you get all 10 of your field players, and their job is to stay behind the ball and kind of move together and shift. It's like putting a large bus in front of the goal. It's hard to get a shot off. There aren't a lot of windows to shoot at. It's difficult to score when you play a team that does it very well. So we'll play teams that do that.
Why would that be fun?
It's not a pretty brand of soccer, but at the end of the day, if you do it successfully, you can get a point from a game you shouldn't, and that's kind of the philosophy that some teams want to play with. In a moment where they don't believe they can get 3 points, I say, well, we'll take the point and we'll move on. I wouldn't love playing like that, but that's just some philosophy that some coaches.
So in regular
yeah.
season, you can get a draw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that point could be very important.
How hard would it be to, like? I mean, maybe I'm talking way out of turn here, but why wouldn't you go to penalty kicks in regular season?
So some districts do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the district that Liberty is in, the 4A district, if you tie like that, if you draw, you go to penalties. Winner of the penalty shootout gets 2 points, and the loser keeps the point from the draw. Kind of like NHL hockey, I think they do something similar. They did before.
Yeah, the table, so you just
Sure.
accumulate points and everything. I just, we love sports, but it's just a giant waste of time for everybody when you basically show up trying to, in your goals, to get a tie.
Yeah.
Like, what are we even doing?
Yeah,
here?
it's rough to watch.
Oh, sure, and it's not fun to play.
No.
I don't know.
And even professionals will do it.
I know. I see that. Like in the World Cup,
Yeah, you'll
and
see
like
it a
you're
lot
in
this
the little
summer, yeah.
pool, and like, okay, they won one of them. They just need to tie this one, and I mean,
Sure.
I don't know. It just some of that bothers you, just because it's like that's the whole point. Is like you're judged by the scoreboard, and it's not just about that, but
Sure.
it's a defeatist.
And it is difficult to play against. I will
I'm sure
admit,
it is.
it is not fun when you play a team like that.
Park the bus.
Yeah.
We've learned that. Well, I'm glad you don't operate this way. Take me through your who's your goalie? Your keeper.
Our keeper, Luke Balka. So
Okay.
he's a sophomore.
Okay.
Very, very talented kid. Honestly, last year as a freshman, played on JV, and he could have started for most of the programs in our district.
Okay.
But we were blessed enough to have a senior keeper that was very good last year. So it made more sense to let him get that experience, full year with JV. And he's ready to go this year. He looks great in off season so far. He's gotten a little bit bigger, a little bit quicker on his feet, and he's going to be a great keeper for us.
And he's a sophomore this year.
Yeah, sophomore
so
this year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the most difficult positions to play in sports.
I think so too. Because
unless you're playing the park the bus mentality,
sure.
and you get all this help in front of you, but typically people don't have that.
Because as a striker or a forward, you can miss 3 open nets a game, and it's like, oh well, whatever. But if a keeper makes one mistake, everybody remembers it, and you're kind of the guy to blame. So it's kind of like kickers in football.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like kickers in football.
Or a deep snapper.
You can play really well all year, but the one you miss that may be a game winner, people don't forget that, and so it's a position that we are very blessed to have a lot of talent in this year.
Take me through your staff.
Okay.
Who's helping you with coaching your JV, and who helps you on the varsity team, and just kind of your staff from that standpoint.
So it's along with me, it's Jacob Hinojosa.
Okay.
Coaches football right now. And last year was his first year in soccer, so we had a lot of learning going on in our program because he had never coached soccer before.
Okay.
And he took it on, and he did a great job with our JV. He did a great job assisting with varsity and starting to see the game a lot. Because he hadn't watched a lot of soccer before, and which that was okay. Taking on a new role, he had a lot of learning, and he did a fantastic job. So. Very lucky to have him because he's always eager to learn. He's always eager to, find new things and see the game differently every time we walk out there. So
okay, ever evolving.
Yeah.
Take me through your district. What is the expectation? Where do you fit in it? Just take me through the big picture. Even though we're way ahead before it actually starts,
Sure.
What is the thought about the district?
So this district, just like last year and pretty much any year we would be put in this district, it's going to be very competitive. All of the Amarillo schools going to be very competitive. They're all very good. Monterey, obviously, the defending champs. They're kind of they're the ones that kind of have the probably the biggest target. Everyone's going for the district champ, obviously.
Okay.
So they'll be tough. Lubbock High, Coronado, those are all games that are going to be very tough. Plainview's getting better and better. So all of these teams, it's a gauntlet. Like 16 games with all of these teams that have a lot of talent it's a grind.
Do you get a bye, or is it just like
we get a bye.
2 straight months? Okay.
We get a bye. We start off with a bye the first round, and So
you get the bye at the very beginning,
right?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
not kind to us. so if you see on our schedule, we have a pretty big gap between where our last non-district game ends and our first district game ends. So that'll be definitely a moment where we take advantage of some time off and some rehabilitation and a nice rest period there.
You mentioned you wanted more confidence and you mentioned the word swagger with
Yeah.
your guys carrying themselves a certain way, other than the final score, and obviously you want your kids to always play hard.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most important thing to you? When you watch your kids play, or they've played a game, or whether you're going through practice, like if your kids do this, like I'm going to be pleased no matter what.
Yeah, the one thing that I think I value more than the toughness and the confidence is just always wanting to learn. Because there's always something to learn from every training session. There's something to learn from every game. There's always film to be watched. There's always a critique to be made in their game, in their technique, maybe in the way they see things. So taking little things away from every single session we have together, that's up there in importance to me. because that means you are actively trying to get better. You're actively wanting to evolve.
What I hear you saying is you want your kids to be coachable.
I do. That is a great way to put that. And yeah.
Yeah,
I want
like always be coachable.
Coachability is your best asset. That's for me. I think if you can learn and you're always willing to adapt, you're going to be a successful player. And anything you do in life, eventually, you're going to be successful.
None of us ever have it figured out.
No.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. But yeah, ABC, always be coachable. I like that. Put it on a shirt. Yeah, that's right. Your scheme. Take me through where did you learn, like what you want to implement and teach, and then have you tweaked it and changed it over the years? And is there anything, without giving too much away or anything for opponents, but like what do you employ from that standpoint?
So, every year, obviously every team is going to be different year to year. And with soccer coaches, a lot of times there's two different philosophies. One, you have your style and you force your kids to kind of adapt to that. And then two, you see what you have and you kind of make the changes based off of where people fit, and everybody has a different philosophy. I'm kind of more the latter. I like to see what we have, who fits where, and where we can take advantage of our certain talents in parts of the pitch. And so this year we're changing things up quite a bit from last year. Last year was very much a high pressure, high attack, go, very offensive based system because we had a lot of good center backs that could cover if we ever got caught out. We had that cover, and we lost those guys due to graduation, obviously. So now it's time for me to think, okay, maybe we need to kind of implement something differently. We can't go with this offensive, Mike Leach air raid almost-esque type offense. We need to kind of be a little bit more conservative and smart when we have possession of the ball. We need to maintain more possession. It's not go, go, go. It's let's control the game and control the time of possession a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, tempo. It's all about tempo.
Right.
Faster, slower, all that stuff.
Right.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, gosh. Best advice I've ever been.
And it doesn't have to be even coaching or sports related. It could just be just in life. But will you ever, like, man, somebody told me that one time, and like I live by this creed, or I teach my players this. I mean,
yeah. So one thing I heard, it's my senior year, and we're getting ready for football season, and my coach at the time, he told us, and I still tell my kids this all the time. But failure to prepare is preparing to fail, and so that's,
and you said it right.
Right.
That's right.
And that's how I like to approach things before season starts. Once going into a new game day, going into a new match week, I want to make sure that we are the best prepared team on the pitch that week. And I tell my kids that all the time because that's it holds so much truth to it. So
yeah, and preparation leads to confidence.
Sure, yeah.
Because when you're unprepared, you're kind of jittery and like, oh, okay, what's going on? You're wide-eyed and all that. But when you've put the time in and all that, you like show up, you're confident and like we're good and all that stuff. Holiday coming up next week. What's favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Oh, the mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. It's my favorite side dish of all time. So definitely that, and then I would have to say sometimes we do these bacon-wrapped green beans. Love those. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, bacon with anything.
Yeah.
Green beans work. Favorite pie?
Pecan pie.
Pecan, yeah. Okay. Pecan?
Pecan, yeah.
We're rolling with it.
Yeah, love it.
That's the second soccer coach I've talked to recently that's their favorite choice of the pie there. So,
there you go.
Coach Gwin, appreciate the time,
yeah,
man.
Of course.
Good luck. Stay healthy. Stay warm.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully that parka will work for you.
Yes,
but
sir.
Appreciate Coach Reilly Gwin spending some time with us. It's been another edition of Pirate Talk. Thank you to Colton Coons for taking care of us, as always, for Chris Lovell, for Coach Gwin. And again, check them out there. It's not going to be too cold and windy out there during
Come out to some
season.
games.
Yeah, there you go.
Enjoy the support.
That's right. All right, we'll talk to everybody next time.